Hello and welcome. This is Brad Armstrong, one of the vice presidents here at DataNet. I know I've worked with many of you through the years, so we appreciate your time here today. Thank you for joining us. We've got a great turnout from our customers here for this session this afternoon. I know there's been a lot of interest in our new product, WinSPC Envision. We're really excited to share it with you here today. We built this product to help all of our customers, whether you're running WinSPC at a single site or across multiple facilities. Envision was designed to address requests that we have heard from many of you through the years. We believe the timing for the release of Envision is well aligned with several technology trends in the market today, such as the momentum of these new tablets and smartphones and big data applications with new technologies that are gaining popularity for business analytics. Just to give you a few ideas, on the first day using Envision, here are some examples of things you could do. There's a dashboard view that you can use to compare the quality of similar products being made at multiple facilities. Maybe you have a new customer and you need to ensure product quality and consistency across sites. At a glance, you can see what parts have been running, how many checks have been performed, where problems have occurred. You start at a high-level view, like which parts have had the most violations, and then you can quickly drill into possible causes and corrective actions to help drive the continuous improvement activities week to week. Or another use case might be for engineers or managers to actively be monitoring a finicky process that has recently had issues and be able to see trends on the fly and help determine potential sources of variation. All of this is easily accessible in Envision through a web browser, even using a mobile device. As you may have heard, there's three main elements of Envision that we'll be exploring here today. First is mobility, where users can access WinSPC data through the Envision web portal on any mobile device or any PC. We often hear from our customers that they're looking for portability across many computing platforms for their various user groups. Second is visibility, allowing users to mine and aggregate data from any WinSPC installation across the globe. And this could even be broadened out to your suppliers' databases or giving your end customers access to secure data. Third is interactivity, for users to move quickly from dashboard-styled summary views with quality metrics to individual statistical analysis of both product and process data using all the common SPC options like capability studies, control charts, and histograms. As a reference point for everyone, Envision is a web portal product. And like all other web portals, it helps you mine data, roll up information, and present some form of view of that data. What makes Envision unique are the statistical transformations and the analytics that are built in to help you see your data in new ways. There's hundreds of stats and charting options, and all the SPC rules are built in. It's important to note, though, that Envision is designed to specifically mine data from the WinSPC database. It's not collecting or storing data on its own. So everything you'll see here is based on information that's already contained in a typical WinSPC database. In addition, everything we'll show you here today is immediately available with no configuration. There's a quick install, and then we'll point Envision to one or more WinSPC databases, and it's live and running. It's designed to work with almost no administration whatsoever. Envision also has a built-in scheduler to help run reports automatically, send them out via email. I know that's a specific request we've heard from several customers. And to just touch on the technology involved here for a moment, there's several deployment models available for Envision. The common options are to install it on a web server at a plant, or this could be located on a web server at a corporate data center. We're also planning for cloud deployments. Keep in mind that no installation is required for the end users, as everything's running in a web browser. All right, let's get into the software demo. You'll notice I'm running Envision in a Firefox browser. We also are testing this on IE and Safari. This demo is installed on a web server internally, and we have access to multiple WinSPC databases that we'll be exploring here. A secure login gives users access to only the items that are assigned to them. I've already logged in as an end user, so we have full access to move around and look at the common tools. You can see the Envision user interface is split into three main frames. The top left frame here is the navigation area. Here, users could select a particular view, a dashboard, or a report, or some type of output that they'll want to explore. There's 6 pre-built views that are ready to go at the time of installation. We're going to be going through those one by one. In fact, we'll start with the admin tree view first. Next, in the bottom left frame of the screen is the controls area. This is where users are prompted to specify or filter data, such as by site, or by part, or by date range. In this example, I'll select a particular WinSPC database and select this examples folder. Now moving into the main area is the output frame. This is where you'll see many different layouts that use dashboards, stat tables, summary views, charts, and drill downs. This is where all the good stuff will happen. In fact, this view should look familiar, similar to the WinSPC administrator part process folder structure. We expect this to be a common view for companies that have multiple sites, or maybe for their corporate teams to be able to explore configuration settings and their definitions of parts and variables. We'll click on a variable here and be able to review their specs, their control limits. You get a summary and recent activity, for example, first and last subgroup, number out of spec. Here are their settings for specification limits and control limits. This would be a quick way to check in on setups for similar products that are being made at multiple plants. This is also a good time to point out that there's 5 main report types embedded throughout the system. On the top right of this screen, you can see there's 2 control charting options. There's a histogram with capability, a data listing, and the normality tests. Each of these can be launched using these predefined time frames here to the right, like the last 8 hours, last 12 hours, last 30 days, this week, last week, this month, and so on. Or by choosing the calendar option, it'll prompt the user to make a date range selection. And we'll just choose all data here. Now we have an interactive live chart that you can explore and filter further. The flyovers will tell you more about these individual data points on the chart. For example, you can quickly see the notes and the tags, data values, date time stamps, and so on. There's also summary views showing the current limits and also the rules that have been applied on this chart. Many of the views also have these helpful tips over here to the right. I'll click on the Rules button. And now you can explore reference information like a definition of some of the stats or the sigma zones or the rules that were used. You can also run filters here. This would be a helpful way to narrow your data set by a tag value. In this case, I'll use a lot number. Maybe you get a call from a particular customer and you need to query or pull up a data set by lot. And the chart updates accordingly. The next view we'll explore is the chart matrix. I'm going to open this in a separate tab within the browser to show how users can leverage common browser features like running multiple sessions of Envision. We're talking to a lot of companies that have multiple operations and they track many variables across their plant, and they need a quick summary of performance across quality. For example, they want to look at trends or recent activity, or they want to just create some type of visibility throughout the plant, or for corporate to monitor multiple processes. We have customers that tell us that just creating this awareness of their charts and the activity helps change how they run their business. People start talking about charts and variation and CPK. There's a few options users can select in the control frame, again on the bottom left, to help build this layout, such as which parts they'll be working with. I'm going to use a multi-select in this example. Or they could adjust the sizing of the objects. They could color their charts based on CPK or the last subgroups in violation or the worst violations. And also by date range. And this generates the nice dynamic chart matrix to the right, where you have a thumbnail image per variable or attribute based on the criteria. And this could have an unlimited number of items. Here users could preview their stats in the charts, or they can click to drill down to get a full-size interactive chart. Again, with the flyovers and the previews, or you could click to filter further. For example, maybe you want to look at performance by a machine for this item, narrowing the data set again. The third view that we'll explore is the parts in production overview. This gives managers and engineers a simple way to monitor capability of their processes. Again, using the controls on the left side, they can set a particular database or a site. They can filter by a date range to help see recent activity here. This dashboard has 3 separate but connected components, all in the output area. You can explore a summary table on the top left of active parts in production. You could click on any of the column headers here to sort or rank items based on the number of violations. There's also a useful flyover to the left. Here you can get quick access to a CPK pie chart to help visualize how many of the variables for this part are capable. This is configurable, but this example is grouping by CPK from 0 to 1 as items that are not capable, 1 to 1.3 as marginal, and greater than 1.3 as capable. Well, what does that mean? It shows you where there's excessive variation. And if you scroll down, you could see even a specific histogram for those items. Maybe you're running high on one side of the spec limit range, and they could click to view those charts and interact. The component to the right here is an aggregate pie chart of all the parts in the table. If you click on any part, like we'll choose bottle or part 1, you'll see those pie charts are updating for data just for that part. And then the area below, you can explore the rolling stock ticker concept. This is a rolling list of all variables in the parts in the table above, or if you had selected a part, it'll show you just those variables. Here's that middle thickness again, and you can see that one was running high, and you have access to the 5 common embedded report types, so you could quickly access a histogram or capability study. Maybe use this to check in on processes at other facilities that have similar operations, or to help someone prepare for a Kaizen event where they can narrow down their items to target where they want to do a continuous improvement. You may have noticed as we go through this, there's 5 hot links here across the top to help explore other items. For example, you could get to all the raw data for this particular report. You can email the report and the data with a click. They could export the data locally to drop it to a CSV or an Excel file. They could print off a hard copy, or you can get into the comprehensive end-user help system here. The next 2 views we'll explore are similar, where there's an overview by part or collection plan. We'll use the part example here. This one consists of a tabular summary, where you can get 1 or more parts or plans grouped together to help quickly isolate issues and compare performance across items. I'll choose multiple items here, comparing first by folder, then by part, and we'll select all data. I'm using a multi-select to group these items. The resulting layout provides immediate access to many of these common calculations and summary information. You can click on the headers for a handy way to group items alphabetically, maybe grouping your items by variable, or by the number of samples collected during this time period, which items have had the most activity. You could group by stats or rank by stats, like CPK values, or any of the other stats here to the right. And going back to the status column, there's a flyover that generates a preview of the capability study. You can quickly get to the other stats and some of the summary. Or you can view the folder structure back in WinSPC, and also get to the 5 common report types that are embedded throughout the system. Looking below this is an attribute summary table. This, with the first 2 icons, you can roll over to get access to the C or P charts, or the Paretos. Here it's showing the most common occurrences for defects on this particular attribute. Or with a flyover, they can also get to embedded reports, such as the data listing report, showing all the individual items that were entered for this particular set of defects. So you're starting to see some of the interactions that are possible within the control frames and within these views to allow the users to drill down and in a single touch explore their WinSPC data from top to bottom. There's also help throughout the system that helps explain the views further and really defines how they might interact. The last item we'll review is the violation overview. We expect this would be a helpful way to do discovery work on what problems have been occurring and which items might need some attention. Again, you can set the filters on the left. And then it starts with a sorted table of parts pre-ordered by the number of subgroups that were out of control during this time period. You can click on the headers to sort items, such as most violations, or view a summary of violations in the flyover. To the right in this component, by default, it'll show the most recent violation plant-wide with the assignable causes, the corrective actions, and notes for that particular alarm. Like in this example, it's telling you there was a problem with a thread, there was flashing, they adjusted the machine, and they're going to monitor for continued variation. At the bottom of this view, you're getting a synopsis of plant-wide activity. For example, the top 12 most commonly occurring violations, the top assignable causes, the top corrective actions and notes. With a flyover, you can see the number of occurrences for any of the items. Like there were 8 process changes on this item. Or when was the most recent assignment? Like when was the last time there was a pump failure and you needed to change the pump, which dates back to May of 2012 here. To get into more detail, if you click on any of the items in the original table on the left, you get an updated multi-level Pareto drill down. Let's use part 1 in this example. So you could click on this first bar to drill down on the variable thickness to find out what has been the most common alarm or violation, what are the assignable causes, and then the corrective actions. The idea here was to quickly show what's been running, what are the violations, and what's causing these issues, and what items might need further investigation. And this is a common approach, either at a site level or a corporate level, to help support continuous improvement efforts and Six Sigma programs. Again, this is all security controlled with restricted user access to limit what they'd be able to do. That covers the core system functions we had planned to review today. Let's take a step back here and talk about implementation for a moment. The standard installation of Envision can be done remotely in less than an hour. We include basic end user training with the implementation. So all the views we covered would be operational after the initial install and ready to use right out of the box. We also offer annual service contracts for access to tech support and software upgrades. We actually have several additional views and some great stuff planned for the next few releases. I can already say we're getting a great response from our customers that have seen this before. It seems like more and more companies are using quality metrics like this to drive their business and to reduce their costs of quality. We're going to answer a few questions next if you'd like to stay on. Otherwise, please call us or send us a note if you'd like to explore Envision further or even see some examples using your WinSPC data. Thank you.